Hello, everybody. Long time no see. I wanted to talk to you Christians that are still following Trump. Or if you're not a Christian, you may want to listen anyway. Is Trump an unlawful leader? Let's talk a second about the tariffs. He lied about the tariffs. He wants you to believe that tariffs are paid by other countries, but they're actually paid by us. The company pays for the product to come to the United States, and then they're going to raise prices on the product because of the cost of the tariffs. So you'll see those costs when you buy items. He's turning all our allies against us. He has turned them against us with this trade war. He's selling Bibles, watches, cologne, shoes, profiting off the presidency, which is illegal. Jimmy Carter had to sell his peanut farm when he got elected president. He doesn't want to give disaster aid when states have had tornadoes and floods, etc. He doesn't want to give aid to those people. He's deporting immigrants. He said he was going to deport the worst of the worst, but he's deporting people that have visas or are in the process of getting a citizenship. And these people aren't criminals, and they're being deported with no due process. Jesus Christ was an immigrant, a refugee. His mother and father fled from Bethlehem to Egypt. And Trump's wife is an immigrant. Trump's his family are immigrants. And he actually is an immigrant. His grandfather came from Germany. So he's being a hypocrite. He is housing immigrants in unlivable conditions. The prison that he put them in Florida, what do they call it? Alligator Alcatraz. Looks like dog kennels. Looks just like a fenced-in area with a tent over top, a tarp over top, and bunk beds and toilets. I mean, literally outside with all sorts of dangerous wild animals. He says if you try to escape, you could be eaten by alligators. They also have pythons and stuff out there, just vicious animals. They're not getting the food and medicine that they need. Some people said they were receiving food with maggots in it. People are dying like pregnant women. They are separating families. When they arrest their parents, the kids become orphans and pets are left with no home. And then he attempted to send about 600 kids to unknown countries that were left to be orphans. Sending troops and mass agents into cities, waging war on citizens while freeing criminals and arresting the innocent. He's making homelessness a crime. He also stopped food and medicine from going to Sudan, a very poor country where people are starving. He would not allow, he fired the USAID employees, and they weren't able to give the food to Sudan and the medication. So, hundreds of thousands of people were dying while the food sat there and rotted, and they ended up having to throw it away. The farmers' fields are rotting as well because there's no one to pick the crops. They've either been deported or just afraid to come to work. A lot of people wanted immigrants out of the country when Trump told the lies about them being criminals and taking their jobs. But I don't see any of those people wanting to volunteer to work those fields and process that food. So we've got a lot of vegetables and stuff that are gonna rot. We'll probably face a food shortage. And he's very vengeful. He's going after people that prosecuted him for his wrongdoings. He does all kind of things, and he doesn't think that he should be prosecuted. He thinks he can do whatever he wants to do. He has sexually assaulted women. And you also need to fact check him. He makes false and misleading claims. His first term, he told over 30,000 lies. He'll use words like fake news and a hoax. He's a racist. He's allowing white immigrants to enter the country while deporting black and brown people, accusing black and brown people of being born criminals, accusing black and brown people of being born criminals, and doing away with Black history. He's going into the libraries and banning books, taking out Black history from the museums, arresting people for peaceful protest. He's attacking freedom of speech while giving tax cuts for the rich and taking away Medicaid and SNAP from the poor. That's oppression. This is just a few of the things that he's been doing. I could go on and on. But what does the Bible say? I've got some scriptures for you that you can look into, because what I'm saying is backed by Bible. Hebrews 13:17 says that we should obey leaders. A lot of people use this scripture in support of Trump, but Acts 5:29 and Galatians 5:1 says that you obey God over God's authority over a man's authority. So if it's against God's teaching, you don't want to be doing that because it's sinful. Lying. Lies all the time. You can look up lying in Exodus 20:16. He's a hypocrite. You can look that up in Matthew 7:1-5. Your faith should align with your actions, okay? You shouldn't be saying one thing and doing another. We talked about him oppressing the poor. Proverbs 14:31 and Ezekiel 22:29. He's a racist. That's in James 2:9. 1 John 4:21 talks about loving one another. So, you can look that up as well. Leviticus 19:33-34 gives us instructions on how we should treat immigrants and foreigners. We should be welcoming to them. Some of us are rejecting God's truth and following Trump. You can look that up in Hebrews 10:26-27. Hebrews 10:26-27. And remember, what you think may not be what God thinks. Okay? You need to follow your word. You can find that in Isaiah 55:8. And as always, I thank you for listening. I'm sorry about my puppy barking. He wants somebody to play with him. So you all take care. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.